for today. My name is Sayeba. I'm a member of Palestine Solidarity Network Aotearoa, and I am going to be your temporary MC for this rally. We're just waiting on our actual MC, so please bear with me as I try and figure out what we are doing today. We're going to start off with, as usual, the karakia, so the space can be safe for us all.
Tui te whānau nau mai, haere mai, ki te Tahitanga Square, welcome to the Tahitanga Square, nau mai haere mai ki te kaupapa, or Karatini, welcome to our rally today. So I'll start us off with a very short opening karakia. Kia karakia tātou. Manawa mai te Māori nuku, manawa mai te Māori rangi, ko te Māori kei au, he Māori tukua. Ka whakaru mai te kō, tau mai te Māori, hauri e, hui e, tai i e. Toi tū te tangata. Free, free, Palestine. Free, free, Palestine. Free, free, Yemen. Free, free, Yemen. Free, free, Yemen. Free, free, Palestine. Free, free, Palestine. Kia ora tātou.
الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. It has been 462 days of the continuous killing of Palestinians. This has raised the toll to more than 40,000 martyrs and close to 100,000 injuries. Shame! But it has also been 66 weeks of you showing up in solidarity. And we have achieved to direct a successful movement of BDS. We have allowed one of the most popular chains to close down and to lose billions and billions of dollars. And to every person who chooses to continue buying from these brands, let me tell you that every burger, every drink, every fry that you buy has blood on it. It has blood of a Palestinian child. It has blood of a mother who has lost her children. Shame on you! Shame. You have lost your dignity and respect for a burger. Shame on you! Shame. BDS! BDS! Take a stand! Take a stand! BDS! BDS! Take a stand! Take a stand! Boycott! Divest! We will not stop! We will not rest! Boycott! Divest! We will not stop! We will not rest! Boycott! Divest! We will not stop! We will not rest! Boycott! Divest! We will not stop! We will not rest! Firstly, we will have a reading from the Quran, followed by the national anthem. Thank you.
In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. To those against whom war is made, permission is given to fight, because they are wronged. And verily, Allah is most powerful for their aid. They are those who have been expelled from their homes in defiance of right for no cause, except that they say, our Lord is Allah. Had not Allah checked one set of people by means of another, there would surely have been pulled down monasteries, churches, synagogues and mosques, in which the name of Allah is commemorated in abundant measure. Allah will certainly aid those who aid His cause. For verily, Allah is full of strength, exalted in might, able to enforce His will. They are those who, if we establish them in the land, establish regular prayer and give regular charity, enjoin the right and forbid wrong. With Allah rests the end and decision of all affairs.
Kia ora and Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I will share the latest updates from Gaza as we mark day 462 of this ongoing genocide. The situation in Gaza is beyond devastating. The death toll has climbed to at least 46,000 confirmed deaths, including over 20,000 children. Yay! More than 110,000 people have been injured, and this does not even account for over 13,000 still missing under the rubble. In the last 24 hours, Israel has killed at least 76 people and injured 108. Shame! Shame! The destruction of Gaza's infrastructure is staggering. Over half of all homes have been damaged or completely destroyed, and 79% of educational buildings are no longer functional. Israel has flattened 814 of Gaza's mosques and severely damaged another 148. With this, they have also destroyed 3 churches and 19 cemeteries were bombarded and deliberately targeted. Shame! Shame! Access to water is nearly non-existent, with 83% of Gaza's groundwater systems inoperable. Palestinians are not only being bombed and killed, they are being denied their most basic right to survive. In the West Bank, the brutality continues. At least 790 people have been killed, including 180 children, and over 6,000 have been injured. Gaza's people are being systematically uprooted, with 85% of the population displaced. 1.7 million of them now forced into overcrowded refugee camps. Families live in fear, uncertain if they will ever return to their homes or if they will even live to see tomorrow. Even in the face of this unimaginable genocide, the resilience, courage, and unwavering spirit of the Palestinian people remain unbroken. They refuse to be silenced and they refuse to surrender. As we stand here today, we must acknowledge the collective responsibility we hold.
It is up to all of us to amplify their voices, demand justice, and fight for a future where every child can grow up in peace and for every individual can live free from fear. Let us now have a moment of silence to honor the children, women, men, and elderly whose lives have been stolen in this genocide. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. Our first speaker will be Neil Scott. Neil is covering boycott and BDS. Please welcome Neil.
But, I will use this. So the series, we worked it out. We want to have a series, a 3-weekend series of BDS. Today is about boycott. But what I want to do is set the scene for us. So who's angry with what Israel is doing in Palestine? Yes. Of course we are. As the weeks go by, the months go by, we watch the Israeli abuses of the Palestinians, and it continues and it accelerates. So who doom scrolls by reading item after item after item? Yep, we all want to know, and we're all seeing what's happening. So if you're like me, you'll be scrolling around the available information, resources, finding out the truth about the crimes against humanity, and it's twofold. The crimes against humanity of apartheid, it's a crime against humanity, as well as the genocide that's going on in Gaza now. So we're disgusted, I'm disgusted at the lack of action by this government. Everybody? Yes. Okay. Exactly. We're disgusted and we need to keep on pushing. That's where the divest and the sanction side comes in. But we're going to talk today, as I say, on boycott. There is evidence, because what happens is when we get disgusted, we're angry, we can't actually go over and stop the bombs. We can't go over and talk to the soldiers saying, don't shoot the kids. What happens is we get a build-up of anger and angst inside ourselves that we can't look at releasing. It's very hard to do that. We can't be there. We can't tell them what they're doing is wrong. The evidence shows that if you take action, the previous part is bearing witness. We all know what's happening. We are angry. We are tense. The evidence shows that actually taking action helps to reduce that angst and anxiety. It allows you to release some of that stress. And that's part of what happens when we're looking at BDS. So taking action helps relieve stress. Just keep that in mind, because today we come to the rallies. Today is not the end of what we can do. So we, as individuals, we can all do something. And we probably have in certain little bits and little ways. What it says is all human rights activists, unless we're absolutely overwhelmed and we can't get out of bed or we just can't take some action, we should all spend maybe 2 hours a week taking some action. So actions like coming to the rallies, attending pickets and handing out flyers like at TVNZ, the US, UK consulates, etc. Like the recent picket at the ASB tennis tournament where the Israeli soldier, remember that, she was a soldier. She was playing As an Israeli soldier, she's in the reserves, which means she is a war criminal. And remember that. When the people walk amongst us, when the Israelis come here, when the people have been in the Israeli military implementing apartheid, carrying out genocide, crimes against humanity, these people, they could have refused. There's a group called the Refuse Solidarity Network in Israel. They could have refused, but they don't. These people are war criminals. The excuse, I was drafted, they can refuse. The excuse, I'm just following orders. 1945-46 at the Nuremberg Convention, just following orders, committing genocide was rejected, and Nazis, time after time after time after conviction, were hung. So remember the people, some of the people who walk amongst us, who ride our buses, who sit on the beach with us, who have a drink if you drink, who eat in our restaurants, who have been in the Israeli military, are war criminals. Fix that in your mind, because that is a sure fact. So what happened is, we can do things individually as well as go to the pickets, the rallies, things like that. So the Palestinian community called for the international community's support through boycott, divestment and sanctions, BDS. There was a broad consensus among Palestinians saw the need to have a sustained BDS going on. And this resulted in July 2005 with an endorsement by 170 Palestinian organisations. The effort to coordinate the BDS campaign was made public in 2007, and out of the conference emerged the BDS National Committee. So there's a global organisation as the Palestinian coordinating body for the BDS campaign worldwide. And New Zealand is part of the global Palestinian-driven BDS movement. We are in the Asia-Pacific part of the movement. So this is global, and the Asia-Pacific part runs from Japan down through Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, and Aotearoa, New Zealand. I've been to one of the conferences where I sat with these people, and they are dedicated to continue and push BDS. So, BDS, boycott, divest and sanctioned. Today we focus on boycott. But before I go on to that, I think we need some more chants. Ali.
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
1,
We are the people!
2,
We won't be silent!
3,
We are returning soon, 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 soon!
1,
We are the people!
2,
We won't be silent!
3,
We are returning soon, 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 soon!
1,
We are the people!
2,
We won't be silent!
3.
We are returning soon, 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 soon!
Thank you, Ali. As always, because I'm long and wordy, we always need the young. Now remember what I said? The Zionist said, the old will die, and the young will forget. Ali, his sister Ruby, Tasneem, the young are not gonna forget. And that's why we want to see more and more young Palestinians standing up, emceeing here, speaking here, taking a leading role in this organisation. So I'll get on with my boring part. So we're talking about the BDS movement. It's a global movement. As I said, it's part of the BDS movement, global movement, and we're part of the Asia Pacific. But today, it's about boycott. We're talking about boycott. We want to go through it because, as I said, today is not the end of our week's activity. It should be to revamp us and get us moving on to the next bits. What is boycott? We consciously decide not to purchase a product for a reason, or choose not to attend an event because of its connection with Israel. There's a couple of different ways of boycotting. It's the widespread boycotts, and I'll have a chat about that, and the targeted approach, focusing on a very few main targets. Now, some of the things, and we're seeing successes, is the Obella campaign. It becomes so unprofitable and the share price is plunging that Pepsi, we don't like Pepsi, bought out the Obella product or the Obella brand from the Strauss Group. But it damaged them. It really damaged them. Other things, McDonald's overseas are losing billions upon billions of dollars. So we here in New Zealand, knowing the McDonald's in Israel feed the Israeli soldiers committing genocide. So what do? We boycott, exactly. Remember that for all of the young people who think, I want to go and get a Macca's, just remember, a part of what you spend will end up in Israel feeding Israeli soldiers committing genocide. So I want to sleep this home, right? When we buy McDonald's, we are funding genocide. So we boycott, but you need to tell your friends that if they buy McDonald's, they are helping to kill Palestinian children. Other boycotts. We've done the product boycotts like Obella. Cultural boycotts. When DocEdge chose to screen Israeli documentaries, we boycotted them, we pushed for the boycott, and we were working towards having a picket outside, not the whole of the DocEdge series, but the Israeli made documentaries. Academic boycotts. I'm unaware of whether we've actually made much progress on that. So we stopped dealing with Israeli universities who help train some of the soldiers and some of the skills they need to kill Palestinian children. Sporting boycotts. That Israeli soldier should never have been in Aotearoa playing tennis and Tamaki Makaurau. So that all of the people who went and picketed outside the tennis tournament when she played, to all the people who went earlier on today, outside the ASB tennis tournament, good on you, well done. So going back to the boycott, the economic effect on the company, like Obella, that was directly supporting the Givati Brigade, like McDonald's who are providing the food for soldiers, that economic effect on the companies actually moves them. The economic effect on Israel, which uses its taxes from those companies to purchase weapons. When you spend money, it goes back into Israel. The economic effect, and this is an interesting one, on the tax intake of the countries which provide Israel with weapons. Like the US, if you have a choice, I will never, ever return to the United States because they have given. If I spend money there, the government will get taxes and they have given $22 billion. $22 billion to Israel. Thousands upon thousands of tons of bombs that have been dropped in Gaza, slaughtering so many people it's almost uncountable. The official tally is like 50-something thousand, but there's a hell of a lot more dead and buried under the rubble. That tax on if I spend anything in the United States will be going to contribute that. I won't. Like the UK refuses to stop the provision of the mechanisms that the Israeli Air Force needs to drop bombs on Gaza. Without the mechanisms, to drop the bombs, they would wear out and the Israeli Air Force would have to stop. Germany, exactly. And it goes on. Consider where your dollars go. You have the power in your wallets to actually affect it. Not you individually, but collectively. I know, looking back, drops of water over time will wear holes in rocks. So this is what we do when we individually take action. Eventually, the collective part of it will slowly but surely do the damage. And that's exactly what we want to do. So, looking at the specific approach, we've recently targeted Bella. So it's been sold by the Strauss company before its value dropped so low. It's not just the fact they got the money, their share price dropped, plummeted, so that they got sold before it went much, much lower, and Pepsi, as I said, who we don't like, would have had to pay more. We are now on to SodaStream, and you'll hear about later ASB. We've got a person who will talk to you about ASB. Other specific targets are Hewlett-Packard, McDonald's, British Petroleum, Caltex, Ahava, and I'll add another one on, Starbucks. We can all take action. Yes, shame. Shame. So that's where we're going to. That's the specific approach. I may have misplaced the thing, but I'll actually speak to it. So when we're taking our individual work, we all know, and we've got the things here, there are apps we can use. Who uses one of the apps? The No Thanks, the Halal, Kiwi one. So some of us use them. I would recommend everybody coming up, scanning or taking a photograph of this and putting their app on their phone. Now people go, oh, I don't want to go to the supermarket and scan everything. I wouldn't do that either. What I do is I go through my pantry and I scan what I already have. And when it says, no thanks, I make a note of that. So that when I go to the supermarket, I am looking for a substitute. And if I look at something and I want to know, I can scan it and say, no, that's not my substitute. But getting out in advance of actually going to the supermarket helps, because then I'm actually not having to waste my time scanning that product again and again. All I know is I've said that that's not applicable, and now I'm actually going to buy something else. So that's it for me. BDS is successful around the world. It's a Palestinian called for and driven initiative. Our individual efforts make a massive effort, and we should be taking action today. Target those products and download the apps and plan your shopping. Kia ora, thank you.
Thank you, Neil. We need to keep boycotting. We need to keep boycotting companies and people who choose to contribute to the genocide in Gaza. Our second speaker today is Kate Stone. Kate Stone is a co-convener of Justice for Palestine. Justice for Palestine have been running the Divest or We Switch action with ASB. Please welcome Kate.
Tēnā koutou katoa, assalamu alaikum. He mihi ki ngā mana whenua, he mihi ki te kai karakia, whaia lien, he mihi ki ngā whānau paratihini, kua huihui mai nei I tēnei rā. He mihi nui, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora koutou. My name's Kate Stone. I'm co-convener of Justice for Palestine. And I'm part of a team of people from across the motu, from all different roku, who have been working on the ASB Divest campaign. We had an awesome rally back in November that was dedicated to the campaign, and some of you would have heard about it then. But we're here to give you an update on where we're at and where we're heading to. Before we go there, I just want to ground us back in our strategy, and we've been hearing already from Neil and others around BDS and why it's important. And we've heard about how horrific the situation in Gaza is right now, and we've heard about how little those in positions of political power are doing to address it. So we need the win. The stakes couldn't be higher. We need to win. We need to win for Palestine. We need to win for all of our communities. We need to win for our tangata whenua whānau, for our kanaki whānau, for our whānau in Sudan. And we need to come together and we need to do effective actions for the win. So, you just heard, we're seeing the wins, right? We're seeing the wins all over the place, all over the world. BDS is effective. We've just heard about Ovella, we've seen it locally with the student movements and getting universities to divest. We know that if we follow the strategy that has been called for by Palestinian civil society, we can win. So with the ASB Divest campaign, we're following this strategy. We are targeting a particular target. We're concentrating our efforts on this target with a divestment ask that we know that they can agree to. We're asking ASB to divest $14 million from their KiwiSaver funds that are currently invested in Motorola Solutions, a company that is listed on the UN list of companies that are involved in illegal settlement activities, and a company that is deeply complicit in the surveillance and communications infrastructure of the Israeli apartheid regime. That is $14 million of New Zealanders' money that New Zealanders have saved over their lifetimes to support themselves in their retirement, which is being invested in Israeli apartheid and Israeli war crimes. And we know, the evidence is clear, that New Zealanders don't want their money invested in human rights abuses. So we are going to mobilise that feeling. We are going to bring those people into our campaign and maximise our pressure on ASB to divest from Israeli apartheid. And once we win that campaign, we're moving on to the next bank and the next KiwiSaver provider, because we don't want any money from New Zealand going to support Israeli apartheid. So where are we at? When we started this campaign, we told ASB they had until 29 November to divest, or their customers would leave them. We got over 8,000 people sign up a petition calling on ASB to divest. Over 2,500 of those people were ASB customers who committed to switching their KiwiSaver provider if ASB didn't divest. And hundreds of those people wrote to ASB and told them what they thought about their investment in Motorola and in Israel. The deadline we gave ASB has passed, and ASB hasn't divested yet. But we know that they are troubled by that campaign. We had some of our green whānau in Parliament asking them questions about their investments. There's been media stories about it. They're meeting with the UN, they're meeting with Motorola, and we've seen through our meeting with them and through the emails that they've been sending to their customers that they're reviewing their investments, that they're concerned about this pressure that they're facing. But their response so far has been totally inadequate, right? They haven't divested yet. That's not okay, and we're not giving up. One of the reasons that they say that they haven't divested is that this investment doesn't meet their exclusions criteria. And if you were at the last rally, you might remember that two of these exclusions criteria are, one, that the investment breaks international law and conventions. Well, it's very clear. The UN has said it, Human Rights Watch has said it, Amnesty International has said it. Israeli settlements, Israeli apartheid is breaching hundreds of international human rights, breaching hundreds of conventions, and It needs to end. Another one of their exclusions criteria is that where there is strong customer consensus objecting to a particular investment. And this is where our campaign comes in. This is what we have to do. We have to mobilise this customer consensus against ASB's investment in Israel. And it underscores the power we have, and we need to leverage that power. So moving forward, we're continuing with our strategy. First, we're getting more ASB customers to switch their KiwiSaver provider. So if you're with ASB, make sure that you've signed the petition and make sure you switch your provider from ASB to another provider. If you know other people who are with ASB, make sure that you send them the link to the petition and encourage them to sign the petition, encourage them to switch, and then follow up on them. And we're continuing to do brand damage. We want to make it clear to ASB that it's not worth investing in Israeli apartheid. Last year, across the mall too, we had folks getting out in front of ASB branches and shutting them down. Just by being out there and telling people the truth, just by being out there and handing information out to ASB customers, ASB ran scared and they shut their branches. We're going to be ramping that up. We're going to be doing more of that. Just this morning, as Neil mentioned, some of us were down there at the tennis, giving out information to folks and engaging with people about what ASB is about. We're going to be continuing to hit up the socials, and we're going to be ramping up all of this activity over the next month. And we're asking all of you, and we're asking folks across the North to get involved in some of these actions. If you want to volunteer, make sure that you sign the petition and click that you want to volunteer, or reach out to us via the Justice for Palestine Instagram or email, or come and chat to one of us after the rally. And you can all get involved right now, right here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all to get out your phones. I know pretty much everyone has a phone, everyone's on the socials, everyone's doom scrolling. Let's move away from the doom scrolling and let's take some action right now. So get your phones out. Today is the last day of the ASB Classic. Today is the finals day. All eyes are on ASB Classic. Let's rain on their parade. Get your phones out, take a photo of one of these signs and at ASB Classic, or go on to the ASB Classic Instagram and Facebook page and tell them they're investing in human rights abuses and you want them to divest now. There's things that all of you can be involved in. This is a campaign for everyone. There's actions you can do, big and small. So no mai, haere mai to the mahi folks, like let's get to it. With our collective power, we can win this, and then we can move on to the next one, and we can win that one too, and win the next one until none of our money is being sent to Israel to support apartheid against Palestinians. ASB divest. We will not stop, we will not rest.
ASB divest. We will not stop, we will not rest.
ASB divest. We will not stop, we will not rest.
ASB divest. We will not stop, we will not rest.
Kia ora whānau.
Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! ASB, take a stand! ASB, take a stand! Divestments are demand! Divestments are demand! ASB, take a stand! ASB, take a stand! Divestments are demand! Divestments are demand! ASB, take a stand! ASB, take a stand! Divestments are demand! Divestments are demand! Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Our third speaker is Leanne. Leanne will give us an update on the Treaty Principles Bill. Please welcome Leanne.
Okay, kia ora te whānau. So just to, we need to mobilise again. And so we'll actually start with the Regulatory Standards Bill. So this is the real Trojan horse that David Say No More wants us to ignore, right? This is the real Trojan horse that we actually have to oppose. So although he pulled it from the submissions portal, the goal is to say, oh look, no one's interested in that bill, we'll just carry on. What do they know? So what we need to do, I've done a bit of R&D on Facebook. I've also got some templates from a Māori lawyer called Tanya Waikato of Kāhui Legal, who knows what she's talking about. So she's put together a template for us to follow. So afterwards, after the rally is over, I've got the templates. I can take your email addresses and forward those templates that you can use. They're very thorough. There's also a guy called Mr. G from the He Tangata Facebook page. Go there if you don't know it already, He Tangata Facebook page. It means the people. And they've got some very astute experts that have made their submissions available for all of us. I've cobbled them together in a Word document for you. So come and see me afterwards. The deadline is actually, we still need to have a say. We need to oppose it, and that's Monday, 13th of January. So that's key. So I'm happy here, to help you out. It's already been done for you. You just need to email it to the minister, to their email address. So that's the first thing. Tuarua, Tuesday is when the extension for the Treaty of Waitangi Bill, Principles Bill ends at 1 p.m. So for those of you who still need help with your submissions, I can help you out there as well. So just come and see me afterwards. So happy to help you out. We need to oppose both these bills, all right? Especially that Trojan one, the regulatory standards bill as well. So happy to help out, and look forward to hearing from you and helping you after the rally. Kia ora tatou.